Our speakers raised many excellent points and made the discussion truly rich. I'd like to conclude by offering just 3 reflections. First, we saw during the pandemic that the great bulk of work done on the front lines of dealing with the pandemic was done by women. Worldwide, we know that 72% of nurses are women, and most healthcare workers and many of the workers who kept us going through the pandemic were women. And yet, we saw such a huge disparity between those women who were carrying the world on their shoulders as workers and as caregivers. And the disparity was stark because we did not see the same representation in terms of leadership and decision making during the pandemic. This, ladies and gentlemen, is an unacceptable state of affairs. And gender equality remains a large and unfinished business that we need very proactive measures to deal with. The second reflection I'd like to offer is that when there are special measures put in place, things can change. So we need, with a sense of urgency, to implement special measures all over the world so that we can see these terrible numbers change quickly and in our lifetimes. And third, we actually have evidence now. We had it before the pandemic, but the pandemic gave us very clear evidence that when you have women in leadership positions, you actually have better outcomes. And that by itself should be enough to convince policymakers, private sector, civil society, and all of society that there is nothing better than a world in which women have an equal share in decision making, in political participation, and in power.